did get in some of the parts that I was waiting for. So I was waiting for the bolts that allow me to bolt the supercharger down into the engine. So I was missing those. I realized that they did not come in the box. Again, just another thing missing from the supercharger. Not get bitter about it. Just say, you know what, I'm going to source out these parts and have one Hellcat supercharger that would have hit the landfill and breathe it back into life in my 5.7. I'm going to look at it that way and be positive about it. But one thing that I do have to do now that I'm almost ready to bolt it on is get the snout on. And I've got the appropriate pulley that I need. Bernie from Crash and Burn, super good dude, ended up sending me the pulley that I'm going to need that's going to fit with my factory belt. So it's a 6 rib rather than 8 rib that comes with the Hellcat Supercharger. So now the only thing is I've got to be able to bolt the pulley onto it. And to do that, it takes a fair bit of force. Now, they have tools out there that are fairly expensive, and I've already spent so much on this build. I was kind of thinking to myself, I'm willing to bet that I can probably do something myself. I can probably build something, I'd probably mock up something that's going to stop that rotor from spinning and allow me to spin that pulley on there, torque it down, which you need a crazy amount of torque to get that on there. It's difficult. So I think I've got an idea of what I can do, and I'm going to put my fabrication skills to the test. Okay, so the issue here is we need something. If you look at the tools that they have online, it's basically just like a chunk of steel that has some of these holes drilled out, and you just basically slide it over there so that when you go to wrench on the pulley on this side, this doesn't spin. You can kind of hold the spindle here. You can hold that and then crank this on with a ton of force and allow yourself to thread on that pulley that you need without this moving. Anyways, we'll see how this works out. I'm going to try to put a couple dots on here with paint marker that easily wipes off after the fact. And I'm just going to dot these up with a fair bit of paint for the paint marker, and then I'm going to touch that to the angle iron. That's going to transfer these marks. Okay, so what I got here is some 2x2x1/4, so it's pretty heavy duty angle that I've got left over from a job. So that left me some marks there. Just gonna drill those out 1/4 inch. That's going to give me a little bit of play, so there's a little bit of room for error, which is good, but not too big. So I'll try 1/4 inch, drill those 4 holes out, and we should be laughing. And there we go. That fits perfectly on there. That's going to hold that from being able to move, and now I can tighten up my pulley, and we should be good to start putting the pulley on. That's exciting. Okay, so this is the Metco pulley adapter that's going to allow us to put on a not factory unit on there. So I'm going to torque this to somewhere around 70 pound-feet of torque, but we're going to use some red thread locker because I really don't want this ever coming off, especially with the amount of force and torque on this thing. We want it to stay on. The factory unit is pressed on, so this is a little bit different. We'll put some thread locker, 70 pound-feet, and then we will put the pulley on there with these set screws that go in there, and that's pretty much the setup. There we go. So now this Metco pulley goes on this guy like so. Use these little Allen bolts there, and then this guy just tightens up, and that is the pulley. Now these guys we're going to tighten down to 7.5 foot-pounds. It's 90 inch-pounds, 7.5 foot-pounds. Really light so we don't over-torque them. Another thing to mention is don't ever impact this, because you could screw up the bearings on the inside of the supercharger. So hand tighten only, don't impact it. And let's go. Okay. So here is one more hurdle that I have to overcome here. So these bushings are what the rotor pins go into, and that's what drives the supercharger. The same ones that I had to make that tool out of the angle iron to hold down, those pins go inside here, and when that pulley spins on the snout, those pins inside here all drive the rotors like that, right? These are damaged badly. This one was half broken off. Some of these are already half out. They're not in great shape. And I guess this is a super common problem that people have on the Hellcat Superchargers, is that these bushings go kind of bad and then it ends up being really noisy, and it's a source of irritation for a lot of Hellcat drivers. So eventually they end up replacing these anyway. The problem I have is these are difficult to get out, and they're hard enough that if I put a pick in here, I can't actually, it just kind of scrapes a little. I don't have a good grip on it. I tried hammering them in, but it also doesn't really help me out. And I don't want to punch through here at all because I don't want to damage and score the inner wall of these. I don't want that at all. So one really good idea that I came across was the thought of threading in a screw on this that is just big enough that the threads start to grab. And then once they do, we can use that to pull these out without hurting anything. And that is the way I'm going to go about getting these out. I'm going to use this guy's a number 14 sheet metal screw. It is the perfect size. These threads will absolutely grab onto that. And then I'll just grab a pair of pliers and then pull these guys out once I thread it in. I'm just going to do it gently and not bottom it out because I obviously don't want to damage anything, any of the metal components in there, but this should be an easy way that I can get these bushings out, get my new ones in, and then we'll be that much closer to getting the snout on and getting rolling with this build. Okay, so finally got those bushings out of there, but the problem I got now is there's definitely a little bit of light surface corrosion on here, and I don't really want to leave that for the supercharger. That would bum me out. The catch I've got is how to get that off of there without damaging the bearing that's inside it. You can see as I spin this, you can see the bearing inside there. I really can't afford to get dust or any gunk in there. So what I think I'm going to do is take a shop vac, put it next to here, maybe a little bit of oil on the Scotch-Brite pad, and just try to just lightly Scotch-Brite rub that stuff off there, just so it doesn't get worse. And also that shop vac will prevent this from going inside the bearing. Then I can put the new bushings in here, and we should be able to put the snout on. We should be good to go. Okay, now that's considerably better. It's not perfect, because I don't want to get too insane, almost taking the wheel off. I'm really nervous about getting stuff in past the bearing, so I gave inside of these as good of a wipe down as I could. The front face looks not bad, but unbelievably better than what it was. So I'll take that as a win. Hit that with a little bit of oil, put my new bushings in there, and then we can probably start looking at getting the snout on there. One thing I'm trying out here that seems to be working quite well for me is just dipping some brake cleaner on a Q-tip and then trying to clean it out. That actually is working really well. And just apply a thin coating of compressor oil. Try to keep that fairly corrosion free. Did a fairly good job of cleaning that up. It's not absolutely perfect, but it's pretty darn good. Because I'm using a sheet metal hammer, the end of it's kind of meant to not damage. It's square, but it's also rounded, so it's fairly forgiving, not sharp edges, so it's not digging into the plastic. Those are super tough to get in, but that just means they're going to seat well. And that should be a good fit for this snout. Well, as usual with this build, try to push forward and end up running into just another roadblock. Honestly, if the supercharger was literally just in one piece and I didn't have to change any of my front accessory drive, I mean, just picking the supercharger up with the adapter plates and then dropping it on the motor, this would be such an easy build. But nothing I ever do is the easy way, of course. Sourcing out all the bolts and hardware and missing pieces that I've had to do for the supercharger has been really annoying and difficult. So I just ordered not too long ago the bolts that bolt the supercharger to the heads of the motor. That was quite annoying. Those are $300 for those 10 bolts. And then I went to put my pulley on. I got my pulley for the snout and all that on. And then realized that I've only got one snout bolt. And the only reason that one is there is because there's a sensor that's blocking it from falling out, and they just didn't send the rest of them. So that was great. So the first thing I did was run to the Dodge dealership and see if they could help me out. And promptly they told me that, nope, you cannot order those bolts. We don't sell them. You can't get them anywhere. And basically told me to buzz off. So that was great. So basically, you're screwed. So I started doing some research and tried to figure out what kind of bolts I was looking at and learned way more about bolts than I ever wanted to in my entire life. And after a whole bunch of searching, I realized that these bolts, thankfully I had one bolt so I could kind of go off that. The bolts in question are M8 by 1.25 metric 8mm bolts, and they are 75 millimeters long. So the other question is, what material do you go with on something like this? For me, because I know it's going to be on the front of the engine, even though it's a little bit tucked away, you're still worried about corrosion resistance, so I wasn't sure if I should go stainless or if I should stick with carbon steel. So I did a lot of research trying to figure out what would be the better bet. Although stainless steel bolts are way better as far as like corrosion resistance, you can't deny that. They would never ever rust, which is great, but they are softer and they're more prone to welding the threads when you're put it in with dissimilar metals. I know this from the trades. I've had that happen when we go to use stainless hardware and you try to tighten it, all of a sudden the threads snap off. That has definitely happened. Or they try to meld in with the nut that you're putting them in. Definitely had that happen before. That's not a good time. Some of the pros of carbon steel is it's way stronger, way stronger. And on top of that, the aluminum that the snout is made out of will mate really well with it. The two dissimilar metals, the carbon steel will go really well with the aluminum, so I know I'm not going to damage the supercharger or the material or the threads in the aluminum, anything like that. It's going to last a long time and hold up. The only downside is the weather resistance from the head that will be sticking out. So for that, I'm going to paint that with chassis paint because it's super tough and corrosion resistance is excellent and easy to put on. So that will solve both issues of strength and of weather resistance. Now in researching what type of bolt I'm going to have to put in there, because you don't want to just put in grade 5 hardware store regular bolts. They're not even close to strong enough. They're not going to work on a build like this. The snout has a lot of pressure on it. The pulley's pulling down on it, and all the heat and tension from the supercharger. They're doing a lot of work. And a grade 5 regular bolt is not good for those heat cycles, and it is not rated for enough. So don't use that if you're in the similar pinch. You need a strength class of 12.9 or 10.9 would work, and carbon steel will give you the strength, and that will hold up forever. So that is what I did. And thankfully, to my surprise, looking online, of all places, Amazon had the proper bolts. They had these guys, which are class 10.9, which is strong enough to handle the pressures that it's going to take. They are 75 millimeter long. They're flanged bolts, so they have the washer type head on it, so they're going to match the factory ones. They're carbon steel, and they are M8 by 1.25 bolts, so they will bolt perfectly in place of the factory bolts. All I have to do is paint the heads on these and they're good to go. The other amazing thing as well, I spent $300 for 10 bolts that are going to bolt this guy into the heads. These guys, which is super frustrating, these were $18. $18, man. That is music to my ears, and free shipping. Thank God, because shipping has been killing me shipping to Canada. So that's an unbelievable win. It just took a little bit of beating my head against the wall and digging deep and seeing what I could find and what I needed for this build, because the dealerships and nobody else was interested in giving me a hand and helping me figure out what was required. So if anybody runs into a similar situation, that's what you need. Yeah, I'm just gonna get the grease off these. So I'm going to add a little bit of this compressor oil onto the pins, because I want this to slip on really nicely into those new bushings. So the stuff I'm deciding to go with is the Permatex Moto Seal. So this is good for like automotive fuels, huge temperature range, lots of pressure. It's basically a power sport gasket is how it's marketed. So this will hold up to the pressures and all the intensity that we're going to put it through on the supercharger. So this will make a good gasket for us, and we'll seal that snout on excellent. So I'm going to apply this to this surface, go around all the bolt holes, and then we'll put the snout on. Like that.